Hi everybody, my name's Cameron Douglas and I am doing a tutorial today about WSV3. And before I get going on this, I do want to make a quick disclaimer that I am not nor am affiliated with Paul Marv or any of the other developers of this program. I am just simply a user of the program, and if you have any questions about the technical or development aspects of WSV3, please direct those to Paul Marv and or his website, WSV3.com. As for me today, I'm going to be showing you some customizational aspects of this program. Specifically, this video will be covering how to customize the counties layer part of the map, and even more specifically dealing with how to trim it down to where it only shows the counties that you want to show. So let's get started with that. The first thing we need to do is we need to obtain a U.S. counties map file. And there's a couple ways we can do this. The first of which is to go online to a web browser, whatever one you might have to your availability. I'm using Google Chrome, but any web browser will work. And you can either go to the URL bar or search bar at the top of the browser, or open up a search engine. Google is good, or Bing, or whatever you like to use, and just search for the terms of U.S. county map shapefile. And when I did that, it brought up the link to census.gov, and then it landed me here on this page, which it has all kinds of different map files. The one we specifically want for this tutorial specifically is county, and I believe we want the 500K resolution. Now, I haven't utilized the files from this source in a while. I actually ended up going with something else for my final product. Just due to a quality difference, and I'll explain that in just a sec. But what you'll want to do if you do use this one is you'll download this file as it is. You'll leave it in the zip. You don't want to unzip the folder, is you'll import it into the program we'll use to customize the map as the file that it is itself. So just download it and then leave it as it is. And so as far as the other option, and the reason why I went with a different option besides this, is because there was a quality difference. The lines on the map when I imported it into WSV3, it didn't align with like the state outlines, for example. It was kind of misaligned and just didn't look very good. So I actually ended up utilizing the map files out of WSV3 on the back end, and I'll show you where those are at. And that actually made it look better, just because it was utilizing the map how it's formatted currently. Just with the exception of trimming it down to, again, the counties that you want it to show. So in order to get to that back end, we're going to go to App Data, and you put a % on the front of that line and on the back of that line. And you put it down in the search bar if you're using Windows 10. And if you're not using Windows 10 and you're using a different version of Windows, I'll show you that in a moment here, so hold on. Once you're in this window, you'll then go down to WSV3 and open that up. And then I will show you the next step from there in just a second. But for those of you who might be using a different version of Windows, you could go down to the Start button and you could hit Run. It'll bring up that Run window, or you could hit the Windows key on your keyboard with the letter R as well. And it'll bring up the Run window, and you'll type in %app data %. And then it'll also bring up that same window if you were to have Windows 10 and type it in the search bar there. So whether you're using Windows 10 or using a different version, you should be able to get there. If you're having issues, feel free to drop a comment, and I will try to see if I can assist you in the best way possible. But once you're in this window, then you'll go to WSV3, and then you will go to Geodata, and then GIS Complement. Now, if you're using the file from online, there will be some similar steps, but it may be a little bit different. If you have issues with that one, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I will try to help you out as best as I can. But as for this video, I'm going to go with this option just because of the quality, and I think in the end you'll probably see what I'm talking about if you do this one and compare it with the other one. I mean, it's up to you what you choose to do. By the end of this, I'm just showing you what I think looks the best. But anyways, moving on from there, we will then highlight all 4 of these files that say C_11 AU16. You want to highlight all 4 of those, right click, and then hit copy. Then we're just going to minimize that. And I'm going to just close, or not close, but minimize out of those programs. And then I'm going to go back to the desktop and I'm going to hit the new and then add a folder. And then I'm just going to title it Counties Map 01. And then I'm going to open it and I'm going to paste the files I copied from the WSV3 folder over here. You can title this folder whatever you choose. It doesn't need to be anything specific. It'll work regardless. Just whatever works for you. So now that those 4 files are there, we're going to highlight them again, and then now we're going to then send them to a zip folder, just kind of like that online folder. We want it to be a zip folder because we need all 4 of those files available to be utilized in the program that we're going to edit the map with, because it needs all those 4 files to be able to read the map correctly. So now we're going to title this new folder whatever works for you. So now that you've done that, we're going to minimize that, and we're going to now need to download a program called QGIS. And again, you'll do that from your web browser, whether you're doing it from the search bar or a search engine. You want to look up QGIS. Then you'll go to Welcome to the QGIS link, and then it'll bring you to the main homepage on the QGIS website. And then you'll download the program. It's free to download and free to use. So you'll download that. It's pretty simple, straightforward instructions to be able to download it and get it on your computer. If you have questions about that, drop a line on the comments. Also on there, there's some documentation if you need further information about that program as well. So let's take a look at that program now. I've already downloaded it and I've got it open. So here's the main page when you first open the program. So what we're going to want to do is we'll go to the Layer tab, and we want to add a layer, and we want Vector Layer. Then we'll hit the little 3 dots here to browse for our file, which should be in whatever you named it. Then we want that zip folder. Now, if you ended up getting the one from the website, it may not be in a folder like this. It maybe went to like your downloads folder or wherever you have your internet browser set to send things when you download things offline. But in this case, you just want to make sure you have that zip file. You'll bring that into the program. You'll hit add. You don't need to do anything with this stuff up here. You can just hit OK and then move on from there, and then hit close. Now it's going to bring up now what looks like a map of the United States, and as well as other areas, and this is the file from WSV3 of the counties layer. And so now you see we have all the counties showing up here, and well, now you're probably thinking we're good to go, right? We can start editing it. Well, unfortunately, for some reason, QGIS doesn't allow it to be edited right off the bat. We have to do one more step, and that is go back up to layer and hit save as. We want to save it as a geo package. What you will do is hit the 3 little dots, and I would put it in the same folder you saved everything else all along, and just again title it whatever works for you. It doesn't need to be anything specific, and then hit save, and then we'll go down and we'll hit OK. And then you'll see the status bar. Once it's cleared 100%, then you should be good to go. And then it's going to probably add another layer over here in the layer box. Actually, what I would recommend at that point is I would remove these because you're actually not going to need them. I think it's actually going to be more confusing to have those there because you're just going to get a lot going on. So instead, we're going to delete those, and we're going to actually then add another vector layer. And then we're going to open up that geo package file. We're going to add that in. Once you've hit the add button, then you can hit close, and now we have it back in there again. So now that that step is done, we can now actually edit the map itself. So you'll hit the little yellow wooden pencil, and then from there you'll then hit what looks like a mouse cursor over a box. It's kind of highlighting that little yellow square. So now we can start looking at the map and being like, okay, what do we want to get rid of? So I want to get rid of that little area that I just highlighted. So I highlight it, it now is red. Now I can hit the delete key on my keyboard. So until you're content with whatever you want gone, you'll just keep doing that same step. Highlight, delete, highlight, delete. Alright, so now you're to the step of you've trimmed it down to where you want it, to where it's now showing only the counties you want it to show, right? So now our next step is going to be to get this map layer into WSV3. So let's proceed. So now that we have that, we can save that. We will want to go to Save As, but this time instead of a geo package, we want a ESRI shape file. You're going to then again hit the three little dots. I would again place it in the same folder you've been working with, and you can again title it whatever works for you. And then once you've done that, you'll hit save and then hit OK, and now it's saved, right? So we're going to go back to our folder and just make sure that it is there. So now we have all of our files in the folder there. So there's the shape file. That's the file you're going to want specifically for WSV3 to be able to read it and show the map how you want it. So let's go back into WSV3 now, and let's now get that map file in there. So we're going to go to the configuration screen. You can either get there by Control-O on your keyboard, or you could go up to the WSV3 drop-down tab and go to Program Settings. Then you will go to the GIS System tab, and you want the shape file layers. And so your screen here may look a little bit different than mine. I actually have several different things going on here, but in this case we'll just hit the little paper tab there to add a file. We will then navigate to the file we saved on the desktop, and then we want the shape file or the .shp file. Then you hit add, and then now it's in there, but as you can see, we still have what's there before. To fix that, you're going to go up to where it says C_11 AU16.shp. We're going to turn that one off. Now it's just showing the counties on there. Now, I know what you're thinking. It looks very bold. We can actually change that, and I can pick different styles. I can go in and I can edit it and change the widths to whatever your desire. You can change to whatever your desire is to make it look how you want it to look, and that kind of thing. So there's all those different kind of customizations, and unfortunately, it's not allowing me to show that here on the screen. I don't know why. I think it's because I don't have it highlighted. Yeah, that's why. So you have to make sure that the file you're wanting to change the style on is highlighted. Otherwise, it's going to start changing it on other things, and it might in the end actually mess something else up in terms of the other layers on your map. So just be careful with that. But in the end, that's what it should look like on your map. And so if you have any further questions in regards of how to achieve this, if something is unclear, or you have any recommendations of how this tutorial could have gone better, feel free to drop those down in the comments below. Otherwise, that wraps up the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helps, and have a great day.